announce it. Please be seated. Please be seated. Or not. Good morning and welcome to this glorious day as we celebrate the mighty class of 2020. Thank you all for working with us to make this the most special day that we can for our 75 graduates. Thank you all for keeping your cars off and know that there are restrooms in the athletic center and in the library. With our move to Sunday, we will be without Reverend Hurst this morning, who is the pastor at the First Parish Federated Church, our friend at the end of Academy Street, right here in South Berwick. She sends her very best. President Jalbert, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, grandparents, and special friends who are here with us by way of our live stream, I welcome you to Berwick Academy's 229th graduation exercises in honor of the class of 2020. Today, by hook and by crook, we gather on Field 1, adjacent to the Athletic Center in the Jackson Library, in what I believe is our first ever drive-in ceremony to celebrate this group of 75 young women and men who all in their own unique way embody the very best of what it means to be a Berwick student. They have achieved so much over the course of their Berwick careers, and especially this spring. I'm very excited to spend this morning celebrating them. One quick note about our location this morning. Yesterday, June 6th, was the 76th anniversary of D-Day, the day when Allied forces invaded Europe and began the long and bloody march to Germany. To my right, you will count 10 trees between the baseball field and Field 4. Those 10 red oaks were planted in honor of the 10 Berwick graduates who made the ultimate sacrifice during the Second World War. Thank you to Mrs. Hamilton for cluing me into that fact following a recent walk. In their honor, I would like to thank all of our veterans here and watching for your service. I would like to take a moment to recognize the men and women sitting behind me adjacent to the library. The administration, faculty, and staff at Berwick are second to none as far as I'm concerned. Experts in their field, they connect incredibly well with kids. They're the heart and soul of this school, and it is my honor to work alongside them every day. It was amazing to stand on the sideline and watch them transform our in-person program to a remote one in just 4 days. I know that for some, that was not easy or a natural shift, but they stuck with it. They evolved as necessary and delivered what I know was a great spring for our students. Please join me in thanking this year's administration, faculty, and staff of Berwick Academy. Events like this don't happen without an incredible team effort, especially in a year like this, given all of our restrictions. That said, I would like to highlight the work of Colleen Meter, Cindy Eaton, Jason Murray, and the incredible facilities team, Chris Lazares, Tyler Albert, and Seth Hurd, for all of the work that has gone on behind the scenes to make all of this possible. Thank you. Michael Buenceseso and Reagan Russell signed up some number of years ago to serve as class advisors to this class. This fall, they were handed the end-of-year playbook, which had things pretty much down to a T. When that playbook was thrown out a couple of months ago, they thought big and developed an incredible plan for supporting and celebrating the class. From starburst to balloons to balloon arches, they have been so thoughtful and their efforts have not gone unnoticed. Please join me in thanking your class advisors for all of their work throughout your time on the hilltop, but especially this spring. I also know that many of you in the crowd are first responders, frontline workers, and medical professionals. I would also like to thank all of you for your incredible work this winter and spring. Okay, now on to some thoughts for the class of 2020. First of all, it has been great to get to know you, both as head of school and also as a parent in the class. I have so appreciated the spirit with which you have led this year and how you welcomed TJ last fall. As I was looking over my notes from the fall, in many ways, it felt like those events happened about 2 years ago. But I smiled, thinking back to some of those memories from what I will describe as the old normal. I was inspired by Mr. Maldonis' words and some of my colleagues' incredible senior photos at Convocation, and his incredible ability to make us laugh and make us think all at the same time. He set a great tone to start the year. Wednesday morning assemblies became the highlight of my week this year, and I'm so thankful to all of you who shared What Matters to Me speeches. Your talks were personal, funny, honest, and inspiring. You have set a high bar for the class of 21 to reach in the fall. I remember fondly how many of you showed up for Common Application's first ever concert and fundraiser in October. How fun was our fall season when I remember the student body storming fields multiple times for our fall teams, and how cold it was for those final few games. The production of Clue kept us all guessing while we were so impressed by everything about the show. Our very first SALT Summit was a huge success and something that my fellow EIL heads have not stopped talking about since. To that point, I would like to thank the seniors who led SALT this year. Your leadership has not gone unnoticed, and so I look forward to the new award that you have initiated, which will be given for the first time next year to the athlete who, over the course of the year, most embodies our athletic creed. Great work by all of you. This winter tested my ability to predict the weather across the seacoast. And given how yesterday and today turned out, I'm still batting below average on that front. I promise to get better, but know that now that we have figured out our remote learning, we won't really have snow days anymore. Just kidding, sort of. We were also witness to recitals and concerts that amazed, athletic teams who competed fearlessly with much success, and another amazing production in the Addams Family. While I know the headline of the 2019-2020 academic year will be the spring that wasn't, I do hope that you find time to reflect on the first 2/3 of the year and what we shared on the hilltop. So much has been said about this spring in the last couple of days and weeks. This morning, I would like to frame my thoughts about this spring slightly differently. Some of you may know that for the first part of my career, I did a lot of coaching. Over the years, I coached both boys and girls basketball, football, and baseball. One of my coaching philosophies that was most important to me and remains important to me for our Berwick coaches is that I aspired to be a next play coach. What I mean by that is that instead of dwelling on a mistake one of my players made, I strove to help them not make the same mistake again. Too often, coaches, in my mind, can be seen yelling from the sidelines about plays gone by, which to me is counterproductive in the development of young athletes. So as we reflect on the last play, call it this spring, what do I hope you have learned? I hope that your teachers have taught you that you are never too old or set in your ways to adjust quickly and on the fly. Know that there are always different and creative ways to reach an end. I hope that you have learned the value of being in community. I know that I cannot wait for all the rituals, big and small, that go into the daily, week, and weekly schedule here at Berwick. As you head off to your next adventure, I hope you begin the new normal so appreciative for the opportunity to be in vibrant communities with smart and interesting people. I hope, too, that you have learned the power of positivity. If we had been paralyzed this spring, we would have achieved much less than we did. Finding the positive possibility, like events this week or the virtual performances we have had in the last couple of weeks, have allowed us to create lasting memories. As much as we were all sick of it, and I am too, I hope that you will take your newfound facility with Zoom and use it to keep in touch with your friends and family. I'm guessing that many of your parents had Zoom gatherings with friends and family members that we don't necessarily speak to that often. I know that I will work hard to be better about being in touch with loved ones going forward, especially as we have witnessed so much sadness throughout this pandemic. I could go on, but my message to you is to take what you've learned this spring, try not to dwell too much on the last play and what you have missed, and go forward armed with the knowledge that you can achieve amidst any adversity. I would be remiss not to use this opportunity to address the incredible unrest and activism that we have been experiencing as a country in the last few weeks. The senseless killings of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd have once again brought to the forefront systematic racism and racial inequality in this country, specifically as it relates to the African American community, and the need for change. I have been inspired by the protests, which again, Mrs. Hamilton told me, have happened already in all 50 states within a week. I've been dismayed by the violence and the looting, and reminded, unfortunately, that we have not progressed very far in the more than 50 years since the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We have worked very hard on cultural competency here at Berwick, and despite our ongoing and growing efforts in this area, it is moments like these that remind us that we need to do more. In the coming days, months, and years, we are committed to ensuring that all of our students leave Berwick as prepared as possible to engage in this difficult and critical work. To the class of 2020, as you move away from the hilltop, know that you have all the tools to be the change agents that we need. What we have been reminded of in the past couple of days is that posting on social media is a start, but it is our actions that will make the most difference. As I said to you the other day, this unfortunately is a long game that will come with incremental change. So anytime you can actively be an ally and an upstander, you make change. When you stand up for what is right when it is not comfortable to do so, you make change. When you refuse to be silent, which can convey approval, you make change. If we all vow to make change in our circles, we will impact the society at large. Dr. King said it best when he said, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." And with that, we are so proud of you, and we believe in you, and I know that what you have learned at Berwick will serve you well as your generation takes the lead. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Mrs. Lisa Bielicki. Lisa, a beloved instructor of math, was chosen by the class to speak today. In just 3 short years, Lisa has made her mark at Berwick as a teacher who is able to both hold kids highly accountable and give them room to be themselves. When I asked the kids for some quick words about Mrs. Bielicki, phrases like "best math teacher I've ever had," provides the perfect doses of reality and fun. She knows exactly how her students want to be treated. She creates a class environment where everyone feels comfortable to chime in. Finally, she teaches calculus as well as life skills. Lisa delivered a great What Matters to Me speech this winter, and I know that we are all in for a treat this morning. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Bielicki to the podium.
Thank you. Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Smith, trustees, esteemed faculty, staff, parents, guests and family, and the class of 2020. On behalf of the faculty and staff, Congratulations. We are so very proud of you and your achievements today. Before I begin this speech, I must first address a very important issue. It needs to be proclaimed for all to hear that this is the third year in a row a math teacher has given this speech. For all of you math haters out there, and I know there are plenty, let it be known that the class of 2018, 2019, and most importantly, 2020 at Berwick Academy believes math is the best subject. I am humbled and honored to be speaking before you today. The class of 2020 holds a very special place in my heart. When people ask what subject and age group I teach, I often hear the first moan for math and the second for teenagers. My response has always been the same. I teach the most interesting population on the planet. There is no better age group. You, the class of 2020, are humorous, excited about learning, open to new ideas, incredibly insightful, and resilient. But mostly you are fun. I have never enjoyed my job as much as I have teaching all of you. I believe one of the reasons I was chosen to give this speech was because the grads are very aware of my brevity. Although the English teachers will cry when I say this, my mantra has always been, just tell me the grass is green. Don't tell me it's covered with dew. Don't tell me it sways in the wind. I also suspect a few of you may have a running bet on how quickly I might cry and are hoping to make this day memorable and profitable at the same time. So start the clock. My students requested 2 topics in this speech. The first, surprisingly, was to give advice. And the second, not surprisingly, was for me to talk about my dog Stella, who has become somewhat of a celebrity. Stella wishes you all the best, but has declined a cameo today. So here is the advice I offer. There are 5 qualities in life that are essential. The first is laughter. My father's mantra in life was always, the laughter is the best medicine. The irony of that statement is my father was a pharmacist for 50 years. Laughing breaks down barriers and stereotype. Laughter equalizes us all and brings joy to those around you. Your parents might not believe it, but there was much laughter in our math classes and in every classroom on campus. The box game and its competitive cutthroat chance for a few extra points will go down in infamy, as well as students reenacting movie scenes out of the blue or students falling out of their chairs because they were so enthusiastically answering questions. The second is to be kind. It really does matter. As I asked all of you to give one reflection on the past year, I was stunned by your responses. Many of you noted a single sentence that was spoken to you by a teacher or a classmate, or one single generous action. I witnessed so many acts of kindness on this campus, from concerns for students who suffered a loss, helping with books for all the broken limbs, and to my favorite, students encouraging others and outright cheering for them as they tackled difficult problems or traversed hard days. But remember, being kind does not mean sacrificing who you are. Being kind does not mean being liked. If everyone likes you, you are not being true to yourself. The third, be loyal, be respectful, be fierce, and do not back down from this for any reason. When a coward hurts someone you care about, say for an example, in a Zoom room assembly at school, speak up. When your friend, partner is discriminated or bullied, take a stand. Support your friends no matter what. Support your family no matter what. But remember, respect must be earned through action. 4, learn at what you excel and own up to what you are not good at. For myself, I know I can work with any student who is willing to persevere through all the muck, like all of you did. I also know that my take-no-prisoner style of teaching would not translate to every group. And as one of my students graciously told me this year, I should never teach freshmen or middle school because BA enrollment would drop immediately. The 5th is resilience, which you have already mastered. You adapted to and accepted the unfathomable while showing truly indomitable spirit. Class of 2020, you clearly can handle anything. You graduated during a pandemic. Do you think a little college calculus is going to get you down? I hope you all noticed that I did not mention history, math, science, or anything else, because those aren't the things that formed you what you were on the hilltop. As I look out at the row of cars, I refuse to dwell on the negativity. Yes, you are in a car because there is a pandemic. Yes, the country is currently protesting over the repression and continual discrimination of people of color. And yes, we live in Maine, which gives us a false sense of not being involved and being naive to some of the issues. But I celebrate you because you, the class of 2020, are the future. There are always comparisons from one graduating class to the next. For instance, Sally Ride became the first woman in space a few weeks after my high school graduation in 1983, and they can all do the math and figure it out. While SpaceX launched their first endeavor within days of yours. But I strongly believe that the class of 2020 will stand out for all eternity, not because of the world situation, but because you came of age in a time that you had to step up, and you did. And this crazy collective experience will define who you are because it has shown who you are. You, the class of 2020, are inclusive, empathetic, you see the problems and are willing to listen and have the conversation. Your What Matters to Me speeches highlighted what you value: laughter, being yourself, accepting others, being happy and thankful. No one mentioned status, money, what college they were going to, or what career they were choosing. Your encouragement of one another was outstanding and showed the bond you had formed, whether you had been on the hilltop for 1 year or 13. So class of 2020, with all this advice, I challenge you to heed the call to action and make this world a better place. Fix the problems where my generation so blatantly failed. I want to take one moment to address your parents and family members before I give you a closing thought. Thank you for sharing your students with me and all of our Berwick faculty. Although students are influenced by teachers, the relationship is just as beneficial to all of us. We, Berwick faculty and staff, have learned more from you than you have probably learned from us. So, before you go, a few final thoughts, which all my calculus students know what is coming. I must take you all the way back to that time of kindergarten and preschool when your parents read you stories. Maybe at one point you listened to the Winnie the Pooh books, whose author, A.L. Milne, was a math major. In one of the stories, Christopher Robin is preparing for his eventual departure to school. You have spent the last few years getting ready for a similar departure, and we, your parents and teachers, have done our best to prepare you. I speak for my colleagues when I say we are confident that the class of 2020 is ready to face the next challenges. And as you go, I send you off with these words that Christopher Robin told Winnie the Pooh. If ever there is a tomorrow that we are not together, there is something you must remember, even if we are apart. Berwick Academy and all of us will always be with you. But always remember, you are braver than you believe, you are stronger than you seem, and you are smarter than you think. Congratulations, class of 2020. I love you all, and I'm so proud of you.
Okay, now for the main event. At this time, I would like to ask the President of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Jim Jalbert, to assist me with the presentation of the diplomas. Today, this process is going to be a little bit different and take a little bit of time, but we are so happy to have figured out a system that will allow our graduates to walk across this stage and receive their diploma. The graduates will come out by group and line up to my right. Each graduate may have 2 people come out and sit in these chairs that are right here in the front of the stage. And then we'll go through, it's either 10 or 11 students. We'll go through that. Students, when you finish, you'll line up on this side until the whole group is finished. Then the students and that group of parents will return to their cars, and then we'll go group 2, group 3, etc., all the way up to group 7. Another special tradition at Berwick Academy is that we invite trustees emeriti, or academy employees who have family members in the class to award the diploma on stage. I would ask that the faculty members and trustees awarding diplomas today make their way to the left of the stage before the reading of their graduate's name. We typically ring the school bell for each graduate when they receive their diploma. Today, as the groups are making their way to the stage, we will ring the bell 10 or 11 times to signify the size of that group that is coming to the stage. I'm also excited to say this year is also the first year we have graduates, 9 of them, I believe, who have met the qualifications for graduating with a pathway diploma. I will note those 9 distinctions when I call their names. With that, I would like to invite Group 1 to begin assembling to my right, and there are 2 people for Group 1 to come up and take the seats right in front of the stage. Group 1, beginning of the alphabet. Yes, please wear your masks. Yep.
So I'm just going to follow.
Yeah. Yep. Guys, there should be little X's I'm going to go. So you're going to hand it to them. Okay. And then I'll meet them right away. Okay. All right. So guys, all right. Annabelle Grace Beaton. Jack Carver Benjamin. All right. Zachary Michael Boston. William Howells Boyd with a STEAM pathway. Michael Adams Bryan Jr. with a STEAM pathway. Holly Ann Cannon. Marissa Allison Catania. Emily Ann Christie. Isabella Tatro Clark with a STEAM pathway. Malia Colvin. All right, group 2. Group 1 is out. Group 2. Not sure where you're going, but you can't stay here. Everybody sing, "Here Comes the Sun." Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Gibson.
Yeah. Now, where are my bells? Where are my bells?
Jim.
Yeah.
It's working great.
Yeah.
People like a lot of smiles.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the bell. The bell.
Say something, Michael.
No, I was. All right, here we go. Grant Naveed Dashti Gibson. Connor Derby. Brady Christopher Desjardins. Christopher Connor Dowd. Gray Evans Dowd. Sophia Ann Estes with a performing arts pathway in music. Aaliyah Brooks Fareed. Brittany Virginia Foster. Sydney McCarthy Foster. Tiffany Marie Foster. On to group number 3. Group number 3. There we go.
Jim.
Okay, great. That's right. Yep. How many is that? No, I'm thinking of bells. I gotta wait for the bells to stop ringing. Tia Nicole Freund. With diploma given by her parents, current trustee Leslie Friel and trustee emeriti and former board chair Matt Friel, Kate Kennedy Friel. Oh, I love those shoes. All right, thank you guys. Okay. George Arthur Gatsoulis. Tyler James Gollin. Gabrielle Elizabeth Geyer. Samuel Edward Gustafson. Finn William Halstead. Theodore James Hamilton.
Congrats, buddy.
Chloe Heath Jackson. Carson Bradley James. On to group number 4.
Lucy's a doll. She just gives me a big word. She's such a sweetheart. How's it feel?
It feels good. I mean, I think.
No, your son.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Happy for you.
Okay.
Kingsland, Jim.
Yep. Just trying to get all the bells. First time through. Okay. Delaney Rose Kingsland. diploma to be given by her father, faculty member Pete Lassie, Samantha Callan Lassie. Congratulations, Sam. Greta Elaine Lincoln. John Awies Luxinger III. Diploma to be given by his father, current trustee Arul Mahadevan, Ashwin Nicholas Mahadevan. You're awake now, it's good. Great job, Ashwin. Nicholas Joseph Marino. Phoebe K. McGovern. Madeline Carol McMillan. Dylan McCoy Mitchell. Costa Pandalise Moklis. Eiley Stone Mulkern. Here we go. Great. On to group number 5. Group number 5. This is going to end up being shorter than a regular graduation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're already into the clubhouse time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go. Oh, they're still ringing bells. Okay. Ooh. These like. Okay. Kartik Natrajan. They get me with the bell every time. Madeline Rose Nelson. Nathan Thomas Nygren. Declan Nugent. Michael Warren O'Brien. You're next, Matt. Matthew Pryor Osgood. Last year I would have gotten that wrong. Diploma given by his mother, faculty member Lynn O'Shaughnessy, Henry Vatcher O'Shaughnessy. Good job, Henry. Nash Bodine Pritchard. Alexander Cook Ramsey. Paul Tillinghast Rollins. Abigail Ann Reed. On to group number 6. There we go. Now he's got it. Start now. Think assembly seats. Think assembly seats. It's got to be close. Close. Very. You good? Lillian Grace Rennie. Edward Gianni Ridolfi. Hope Siobhan Ross with a visual art pathway. Logan Patrick Ryan. Rachel May Sanderson. Grace Ruby Schroeder. Abigail Ida Sarah. Benjamin Frederick Slama with a STEAM pathway. Gavin Jacob Smith with a STEAM pathway. Diploma given by his father, current trustee Patrick Spearman, Ross Oldfield Spearman with a STEAM pathway. Congratulations. Ariel Jacob Stieber. That's it, yeah.
I'll count them this time.
On to group number 7, last group. Oops, what do you got, Turk? Aislinn Marie Terenzio with a performing arts pathway in dance. Jack Summer Traster. Haley Austin Tremblay. Ryan William Trotsky. Madeline Pomerantz Vining. Shane Patrick White. Samantha Grace Wright. I want to send a shout out all the way around the world to Olivia Wanyu Wu, who I hope is with us on the live stream, but congrats, Olivia, on your graduation. Wesley Grote Wyatt. Theodore Thomas Yassa. Qianyu Zhu. Rain Tehran Zimmerman. Great. Congratulations to the class of 2020. A big round of applause. You guys can all head back to your seats in your cars, please. I should have apologized before I started, but I'll apologize at the end for any of the names that I destroyed during those diplomas. Now on to the Cogswell Address. On Friday night, our next speaker was awarded the William Lambert Cogswell Prize, which goes annually to a senior who is ranked within the top 5 scholars in the class, has chosen a rigorous course load, and shown manifest interest in and engagement with the ideas of the curriculum and or other intellectual or creative pursuits for their intrinsic value. The winner is chosen by vote of the upper school faculty. To borrow from Zach's college recommendation, if you have ever had the feeling that a teenager is trolling you with ultra-respectful, kind behavior, you know what it is like to encounter Zach Boston. Courteous, attentive, funny, humble, genuinely engaged in every conversation, Zach can sometimes seem too good to be true, except it's all true. Zach, who is headed to Brown University in the fall, has earned our top prize, and it is my pleasure to welcome him to the stage to deliver the Cogswell Address. Zach.
Can everybody hear me? Give me a honk if you can hear me. Sweet, sweet, sweet. To open, I would like to express how truly honored and grateful I am to be speaking here today. Before I go any further, it would be a complete injustice for me to get up here without giving recognition to those who have helped me become the person I am today. I sincerely thank my family and friends, shout out to the corner table, for all their support through the years, and the class of 2020 for the endless laughs and timeless memories. And to my mom, who has sacrificed so much for me and my future, as I'm sure many of the parents here have, I want to especially thank you and let you know how honored I am to be your son. And on behalf of the class of 2020 as a whole, I would like to acknowledge the work that all Berwick faculty members put in and year out. This extends to our one-of-a-kind teachers, but also those to admissions, the athletic center, the grounds crew, and of course, Sage Dining. Shout out to Holly. Each of you has made an impact on our lives in some way, shape, or form, and we are and will be eternally grateful for that. And finally, to Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Smith, Mr. Downey, Mr. Buenos-Aires, Ms. Russell, and all others who kept this year's senior festivities just as significant and sentimental as any other, thank you for all the extra hard work you have put in for us. Now, congratulations to the Berwick Academy class of 2020. What an amazing accomplishment and important milestone for each and every one of us. It seems absolutely surreal to me that our time on the hilltop together is coming to a close, but I wanted to personally let you all know how proud I am of the people you have and will become. Be proud of yourself and know that there are many people out there who are just as, if not more, proud of you. When tasked to write and deliver this speech, I often found myself stumped. Could you blame me, though? How can one sufficiently convey, in only a 5 to 7 minute time frame, such a sensational and extraordinary group of people? What am I supposed to say? Do I speak about the aspects of our class that set us apart from all others, such as our unmatched zeal displayed weekly through Tropical Tuesdays? Shout out to Nate there. Or what about our unwavering sense of honor and integrity? Or do I tell the story of our indestructible shield of resilience, which has been put on full display ever since the start of our freshman year with a brand new 2020 curriculum and continues up until today, our graduation day, with this ghastly pandemic and with social injustice that sadly continues to be a part of our country? Or do I reveal some of our most memorable moments? This can entail any of the passionate spirit weeks, hype sporting events, historic class dances, or fantastic plays and musicals that took place over the past 4 years. And a bit of a side note, and I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be laughing as hard as I was, but BA's production of Clue this year may have been the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So congrats to all you guys, that was awesome. As much as I intended to continue to dwell and live in these unforgettable memories for the next 5 to 7 minutes, I recently came across a quote which made me think otherwise and ultimately changed the premise of this speech. In a short letter to John Adams back in 1816, Thomas Jefferson wrote, "I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past." And it is with this quote that I begin my message to you all. Please do not misinterpret what I am about to say, because truly, the past 5 years I've spent at BA have been some of the greatest times of my life. As much as I wish I could spend even one more day with the class of 2020 on the hilltop, I realize that it is time to move on to the next chapter of my life, and I encourage you all to do the same. I'm not saying to forget by any means, as the memories every single one of you have made are priceless, but I am advising you not to stay and live in these past memories. Instead, I propose that you all build upon those memories and make new ones, as our lives are fresh and just beginning. I acknowledge that today, our high school graduation, is a pivotal moment in our lives, and I recognize that we all have mixed emotions, whether it be joy for this great accomplishment, or nostalgia for the past, or sadness for what we can never get back, or even anxiety for what awaits in the future. But I also realize that this won't be the only time we feel this way. In our futures, I envision new friendships, college graduations, first jobs, marriage, and children. And in any of these transitional moments, we should ask ourselves, like perhaps many of us are doing right now, a single question: what's next? Though this may seem rather simple, it entails a lot. It is a tough question to answer. It's a question of hope and determination, a question of being unsettled by settling, a question of looking forward to the future while simultaneously forgetting bits of the past. Class of 2020, ask yourselves, what's next? What do you wish to accomplish in the one and only life you have? Knowing this class so well, the answers will definitely vary. Some may want to simply graduate from college, an obvious next step in any of our lives. Others may be looking a bit further into future job positions. Linguists, aerospace engineers, graphic designers, athletes, and actors/actresses are a couple that come to mind when thinking of this class. And even further down the road, others may already be looking forward to settling down, marriage, and children, and some may not know what they want yet, which is completely okay. Oops. As many may or may not know, The Great Gatsby is my favorite piece of literature, and this wouldn't be a true Zach Boston piece of writing without at least one mention of it. And for those of you who haven't read it yet, well, you probably should. It's almost 100 years old. Anyways, despite Gatsby living a tragic and problematic life, I always respected his sense of hope and determination. Pertinently, the most popular motif in the story, and maybe even of all time, the green light, resembles what Gatsby dreams of and spends the whole story chasing after. I encourage you all to find a green light, like Gatsby did, and I quote F. Scott Fitzgerald when I say, "Believe in that green light, that orgastic future that year by year recedes before us, and though it may elude you, run faster towards it and stretch out your arms farther, all until one fine morning. And when you each reach your personal fine morning and fulfill whatever your green light may be, don't settle. Rather, ask yourself, what's next? If you're graduating, graduate with honors. If you're getting a job, become the assistant to the regional manager and then the regional manager. Also good for you if you understood this reference from The Office. If you're getting married, be the best partner and supporter you can be. And if you're having a child, be the best darn parent ever. In any case, don't settle, don't stop hoping, don't stop dreaming, and don't stop asking yourself, what's next? And again, I know the ideas of failure and having your whole life in front of you can be very frightening, not knowing where everything is going to lead. But I urge you not to fear. I'm a firm believer that we live in a world of unluckiness and mishaps, but I do believe there is one thing we can control: effort. And if you put in all you can into anything you want, and you earnestly know that, no failure should take away your personal pride, for you know you did everything you could, and that's all you can do. But for the class of 2020, know that you are better prepared than most. We know what it's like to struggle, to be pushed to our absolute limits, and to lose out. And it is for these reasons that we are ready to overcome any trouble, conquer any problem, and become any platonic conception of ourselves that we wish to. Sorry, one last Gatsby reference. But as of right now, I think we can put the future on hold for just one day. Today we must live in the moment, embrace what we have while we still have it, and celebrate ourselves and each other. Since I've taken a quote from my favorite book, I guess I'll take one from my favorite movie as well. So, in the critically acclaimed Kung Fu Panda, while Po, an insecure panda, is trying to find his identity and place at Jade Palace, Master Oogway, a giant wise tortoise, gives Po a piece of advice which I also wish to leave you all with today. And it goes as follows: yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome job.
Thank you, thank you.
Good job, Jay.
Okay, before wrapping up, a couple pieces of business. First, I'd like to thank the following students who have agreed to serve as class agents for the class of 2020. So next year, they will be gently encouraging all of their classmates to contribute to the Berwick Fund. We will also work with this group to plan your big party. And as I've said all through this, we are committed to having a great big party as soon as we can in a safe manner. So if it's sometime this winter, if it's sometime next spring, we will have a party in honor of the class of 2020 and their parents, and we will have us all together, and I so look forward to that. Those students are Ryan Trotsky, Logan Ryan, Nate Nygren, Hope Robb, Lily Rennie, and Gianni Rodolfi. So thank you so much for doing that work. I would now like to ask all of the seniors to stand in front of their cars and to loosen up their cap-throwing arms. I would also like to remind all of us that after the students throw their caps in the air, we need everyone to head back into their cars as the faculty will head to the bus lane and create the tunnel through which you will exit. Please keep an eye on our staff members who will be directing everybody so that we can make this a smooth effort. But I really ask everybody that once we're finished, that we begin the process. This has been such a great morning. We need to move on to the next part and get everybody moving. Before you throw your caps in the air, I am hoping that the seniors will join me in thanking their parents for their love and support, for giving them the gift of a Berwick Academy education, and for preparing you to take on what's next. We have talked a tremendous amount this spring with parents and faculty and staff about how we might honor this class in a special way. There have been some good ideas and thoughts around something we might do on campus, like a tree or a bench, but I didn't love those ideas. I did love the notion of doing something that would last forever. So to that end, we have created a new award that will be given every year from here on out at baccalaureate. That award will go to the student who in the eyes of the faculty has personified the spirit and determination of the class of 2020, who, when faced with an incredible obstacle, rose to the challenge with resilience and grace. This award will be our way of always remembering you and how you triumphed during this unprecedented spring. With that, it is my great honor to name you, the class of 2020, as the very first winners of the Class of 2020 prize. When we gather next as a group to celebrate with you, we will present each of you with your award. Congratulations. And now, it gives me great pleasure to say that you have all officially graduated from Berwick Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, the mighty class of 2020. Oh, we can just leave it there.
I'm worried about the rain.
Oh, okay. We can take it. So please keep an eye out for our staff who will direct you on how to get back out to the road. It's pretty good. It's like an hour.